All right, everyone, we are here with a very, very special guest. We are joined by comedian Nikki Glaser.
Hi, guys.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for coming in.
Listen, I just got to say, okay, we booked you months ago to come in today. And then we see you're on every freaking show. Did they book you before or after the roast?
There were some that booked before, but not many. And there was because I had a special come out last week. And so there's already so much press lined up to promote that. But then
Someday You'll Die on HBO.
So many people that turned down my press opportunities reached out later on. We're like, no, we have room suddenly. We bumped a couple people.
Oh, we're not on vacation anymore that day.
Exactly.
We're actually going to be in studio.
That's what's happening of this week is that just like, you just see when you get a little bit more famous, like the people that come out of the woodwork and who are suddenly nice to you.
We've had you on the calendar for at least a month.
Well, no, you guys, I will say it really blew my mind, like opening my phone and seeing you guys talking about me. Like you always are on my feed. I'm watching everything. All of your, you like inform how I should feel about things. And to hear my name come from your mouths was so surreal to me and cool because as a fan of the show, it was just like it was just one of those.
You're gonna make us blush, but as a fan of you, I'm just so excited that you're sitting here.
So we were ready to hype you
so
up
much.
too.
And
it was so nice.
I was like whooping and hollering at my TV when you were on. I was like, and I was watching with my fiance, and before it started, I was like, Nikki is so fucking funny. Just wait until she gets up there. Like, let the other people go, but like wait until Nikki gets up there. And he was cracking up. He was like, you're right. She's so funny. And I was like, I told you she was gonna be the best. And then I made my parents. Well, I was like, you have to watch the roast. You have to watch the roast. And I'm like, Nikki was the best. And the next day, I called them. I'm like, so Nikki was the best, right? And they were like, oh yes, by far.
You know, it just like goes through every channel. Like when things are popular and it goes through like if your family and you watch it and then like maybe you send it to your siblings and then like makes it to your parents because they're like always just a little later to the game. 3 days probably after the roast, like one of my aunts or uncles, somebody sent it being like, she was so great. I'm like, yep, she was.
It was so. I've never done anything, and I don't think I'll ever do anything again that is on this scale of like gets this much attention by so many different levels of media. Like it's being covered in sports. It's being covered. It was just the only thing that was really happening that week too. Like no one died or got married or like that was
the Kendrick and Drake stuff was happening.
That was happening,
but I think people were just excited that there was like a lot of
it was in the same
it was a lot
wheelhouse.
of tweeting going on.
Like
Twitter was hot that weekend.
And shit talking was hot that weekend.
Exactly. It was like, oh, we're gonna fight with our words.
But I even felt as like a Swiftie, like I was like, thank you, Taylor, for like not going back on tour until like a week later, because for me, I wouldn't have been able to cover it myself as much because I was so worried about roast stuff. And then Tortured Poets came out a couple weeks before the roast, so I was able to like have time with it and not feel like it really. When Tortured Poets came out, I was like in roast mode, like prep mode, and like that's all I could think about. And so when it came out, I was
helpful. Like, it was a roast in itself, that album.
Totally inspired by that. I really did. I was like, oh, she's not holding back. Why should I?
Exactly. And you've done roast before, but what was different this time around preparing?
It was just, I knew.
How much time did you have to prepare?
I had about a month and a half. I'd known for a while, but I didn't know who was going to be on it besides Tom Brady until like weeks before. And so it's no point in really writing or preparing. So I kind of knew, but didn't really force myself to get in like really like specialized training mode where it was like all I thought about and all I did every single night, running around doing sets for like the last 2 weeks, I think. But it was different because I just knew from the other ones how much they changed my life. Just, when they were in Comedy Central, like they were the biggest like moments where I was like, okay, I feel like more people know about me and like have noticed what I'm doing and pay attention to the other stuff. So I knew it was that good, but also it was Tom Brady and no one on that level. So I was like, this is going to be big, and it's on Netflix and it's live. And the live element of it, I was like, I cannot have a single joke go wrong because I can't go, hey, will you take that one out? And the other ones, like, if you're a joke bombs, it's not a big deal. Like it's everyone
Smaller
forgives you in the
scale.
room, and you can just tell the editors. They even know, you don't have to tell them. They just know how to make your set look amazing. But this was like, oh, I don't have that. I have to edit it myself prior to it.
I think this was also why it was such a big thing is people knew it was happening, but I don't think people realized how big it was. Like I think a lot of people put on Netflix and were like, wait a second, this is at the Forum?
No one knew.
They were like, there's thousands and thousands of people there.
And then when how long it was going.
Yeah.
Right? Like after the first hour, I was like, okay, wait, it seems like we have a long way to go. It was like full 3 hours.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 2 and it went full 3. And it was great the whole time. It was so interesting the whole time. There were things happening that couldn't have been predicted. We all, I mean, myself included, and anyone I talked to was like, why are they doing this live? This is a big mistake, because roasts work because they're edited to make everyone look funny, but it worked because people tuned in because the shit show, like what's it gonna be, who's gonna not do well, it felt like a reason to, there was a reason it was live, like you wanted to tune in to see what would happen.
When you got up there and you're great, you know who you are, but you got up there with so much confidence, what's that kind of like pumping yourself up, and is it having to do with watching the people go before you who are not comedians and you're like, I'm about to smash this?
Yeah, it's, Drew Bledsoe went before me. He was the only one that was not a comedian. It was Kevin Hart, then Jeff Frost, then Drew Bledsoe, and then me. And Drew had a really good set.
Slot.
I had a great slot. It was people. I've had that compliment my whole life about my slot, but that was by far my best one. But it was. Wait, I forget your question.
Like getting up there to have the confidence.
Yes, the confidence. Okay, so truly, like I was having so much self-doubt because it's live. There were a couple jokes I added last minute that was just like, I don't even know if this is gonna be funny or work in this room. I like added it the day before, and some of the jokes had been working for weeks, so I just knew they would work. So I was just like, could go really wrong, and like, what if the tone isn't right? What if someone does a joke that's kind of similar to mine, and I have to? And I started letting that kind of talk in my head. And I remember this advice my dad gave me like years ago about performance that was like something about the Wallenda family. They were like tightrope walkers, and the father like tragically passed during a tightrope walking. And his wife said that the day he passed, and he'd been doing it his whole life, was the only day that he had been like, I'm worried about today. And like, if you start worrying, if you think about what could go wrong, it will go wrong. Like, and so I kind of was thinking about that.
Just putting the energy out there.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm just trying to get into manifestation, all the things that we're all trying to get into. Right. And so I really was sitting there about, I think it was like 3 minutes before my set. I think Drew was still on, and those things were coming in, and I was just like, nope, this is going to be the best set of your life. It's already happened. It's already, it's in the cards. Like, you have to live it like it's already, I just decided to like focus and like try to manifest that it was great. And I don't know if that's why it worked out, but it did feel like I had to make a conscious decision to not doubt anymore, because I spent so much of my time doubting myself and feeling like I don't deserve things or what could go wrong. And I just didn't let myself in that moment. I kind of visualized killing. And then I was able to do it in a way that I had never performed before. Like, I'd done that set a bunch and it had never gone that well. So it was like, it was just perfect. It was, because I was so glad.
Yes.
I'm so like, I'm even talking to you now, I'm like, I can't believe it's over. Like, it was so much pressure.
I've seen you like posting on social being like, this was just like the best week ever. Like, but how was the room? Because it seemed like what a lot of people have said afterwards, that it was obviously a lot of Tom Brady super
Boston
fans, football fans, like crazy Patriot fans, and that can be tough. Like, there's probably some comedians that they don't know or whatever. We all saw what happened with Kim. Like, clearly, like they could get heated. Like, how did you feel the room was?
I felt like it was because I'm so used to like rowdy comedy clubs. Like, I felt like I know what to do with these people. Like, if they start doing anything, I'll just talk over them. That's why it was like so like I didn't really give a chance for anything to happen. And that's like kind of the way I run my stand-up too.
It was kind of like boom, boom, boom. Right into
because
it.
If I give a chance for someone, even on the one of the other people, to like get up and talk to me or heckle or do something, it could throw my rhythm. So I just didn't allow any moment for that to happen. But yeah, I mean, I think the first joke, after it took like a second longer for it to hit because of like the sound traveling, and there was a moment of like, did that not work? Like, and then once it did, I was like, okay, locked in, and then I was able to go. But it was just, I would not recommend doing this for myself more often than once a year, in terms of like the amount of pressure I felt and how it really felt like the Olympics, like a performance like that. And thank God I nailed it, but it could have I just got lucky. I feel like so much of this.
You didn't get lucky. You absolutely crushed it.
Thank you.
Like everything.
Well, I worked very hard, and
it showed. And I love how on some shows you've been saying like some of the jokes that you were gonna say and you didn't say. I have a couple of questions about that. One, were you nervous to tell those jokes publicly? Because now it's like, all right, either people are going to be like, wow, she should have said that one, or
Yeah, there's some jokes, the ones that are I feel like it's okay because people go good, she didn't tell that joke, and it like kind of shows the process. And the ones that are like, you should have told that, well, now I get to, you know.
Do you wish that you said the Tom Brady with kissing his son joke?
I mean,
that one made me laugh.
That
hard.
really fit. That was me saying, let's go, that, you know, after, you know, maybe we can make out at the after party, you can pretend I'm your son, was like, for me, I really missed that joke because it just, I was trying to set up this person who I was that wants to fuck Tom Brady, and like you have to tell a story with these jokes. Like you can't just say this is how you feel about someone. You have to like prove to the audience that they are this. Yeah. And so for me, it was like there was so many moments where I was looking at my set where I'm like, these jokes about me wanting to fuck him work, but I really have to lay the foundation. And that was one that just is a quick one that like just shows that I don't think I want to bang him. I just want to make out with it. Like it's not as harsh as banging. So it was kind of sucked to take it out because then I had to go to like, no, I would want to fuck you. I'm going to shoot my boyfriend in the face so I could suck your dick. That's the one I took that
two different extremes,
right?
Which I almost feel like
have to go like super. You have to go like super.
And I feel like maybe Tom Brady appreciated that because I think if his son was mentioned, you could have maybe had like a Jeff Ross moment where he like comes up and is like, don't mention my son.
It would have been.
And then it would have funny for everybody else to hear when Tom Brady's not in the room.
Absolutely. And that's what like, and I don't think that him, like the joke is making fun of like that weird kiss, like, oh, is that something weird about it? I don't think there was anything weird about it. It was just the way that family expresses love, funny, and it's different than the way we do. But it was just a funny reference. But yeah, and I don't think that based on Tom Brady saying goodbye to me that night, I don't think I'm ever gonna run into him again. He was pretty much like, good luck with everything. He literally said good luck with everything. So it's like I don't expect to see him again.
And you're almost like,
I can burn that bridge.
You're like, what do you mean like good luck? Like I crushed it. Do I need more luck from you?
Yeah, I know.
Like what's the good luck?
It was a very sweet way. I think it's like when people say nice to see you instead of nice to meet. Like it was just a safe way of being like,
good luck coming and try and find me.
Yeah. Good luck trying to fuck me. Yeah. Like everything. Good luck.
Like,
it was a perfect.
It's more of like a bless your heart.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, so sweet. And I also didn't want anyone
best
to
wishes
think
for all your future endeavors.
Yes. And that's how I felt. I mean, it's Tom Brady. Like I don't have a chance to fuck him, so it was really funny to me to throw myself at him. It's that was hilarious to me to like, and I kind of felt like one angle I was gonna try was that, you know, you were the 6th round draft pick and you became Tom Brady. Like you were 199th picked overall. Like no one believed in you. Like, can I be, maybe I'm your 6th round draft pick. Like if I wait at the party long enough, like I could, you could make me the best. You know, like, you don't know what I'm capable of. Let me get in there and see what I can do. So I kind of felt like maybe he would even resonate with that. Like I'm the best decision your dick has ever made or whatever he said to Robert Kraft. You know, like, so
that's hilarious.
I was inspired by him and like researching him of like, oh, this is a guy that really no one believed in at all, and he became the best ever. So it's like and he worked hard enough to be the best. And so I'm like, some people are just like naturally talented. I really relate to Taylor Swift, and like I've never been a natural. All I do is try. And when you hear Taylor Swift say that, you go, come on, you're obviously a natural. But it's nice for me to hear that because I do think that a lot of talent is hard work, and people don't credit that, or they think that's kind of like takes away from talent to say you're hardworking.
Right.
But
well, you just said you got lucky, and we were like, no, you worked hard at that. Like you have to allow yourself to be like, no, I'm very talented because I work hard.
Yes, but it's like, you know, it's just, you know, when you get a lot of attention like this and things like become like almost like an overnight level of fame that you didn't have before, you do question it, and you go like, well, I was the same person yesterday and now everyone seems to care, and you try to think, oh, maybe I tricked people. I've been going through a lot of that. But
have you had people on the street be like, the rose?
Yeah, it's like I've never been recognizable before, but like everyone saw it this week, and it's like I'm on a plane and I see people watching my face.
I
like
saw
it's
that
like
on your story.
Yeah, that's really cool that's happening. But and I desperately don't want it to go away because it feels so good that everyone likes you.
Yeah. Right, but it's perfect because your special is out now too in the same week.
I mean, it seems like I masterminded it, but I did not. It is total coincidence.
Really?
And so it was like I knew my special was going to come out in the spring. It should have come out maybe even sooner, but it took too long to edit it. And so, it just lined up that way. And it was like perfect because it couldn't have timed out better. So yeah, it's like the number 2 watched movie on Max right now, which is like, it's not even a movie.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm next to movies. It's great. It's all because of the roast.
Do you get an update on like how many people have watched?
No, but I just got that number 2 update yesterday, and it was just like, and it's, I think their most watched special and things like that. Like, I like to be able to say that because this does not happen to me. These things, this has not been, I've had a 22-year
it's a perfect way to
career.
capitalize on the moments.
Why not? Yes.
Yeah. Because people want more of you. They're searching for you everywhere, which is good that you're on every show.
Yeah, and people are going through HBO and they go, oh, I've seen that girl so much. Like, it's just getting your face out there in different ways, and it's really just so nice. And I did feel like Taylor Swift for a couple days, like of just like my face everywhere. I open my phone and people are talking about me. Like, that must be what it's like to be her.
Well, now you have your song.
And then I have a song.
That honestly, like when I first heard it, because I saw you made a video.
Yeah.
And I was like, this sounds exactly like this.
Thank you.
Like you sounded
it's
so
catchy
good.
as hell too.
Thank you. Yeah, it's called Someday You'll Die, and it's the song of the summer. And yeah, of course I want to be a pop star. That's like all I've ever wanted to be. It's like, that's why I dress the way I dress in specials and stuff. Like, it's fun to dress up and like, comedians, like, you always have to just dress down because it's about the jokes. It's like, okay, well, if I show my legs and I look sexy, like, are people not going to think I'm funny? It's like, I don't even care. I just want to dress up and feel pretty and feel like a pop star.
Pop star moment.
And I'm only a comedian because I can't be a pop star. Like, it was the other thing that was available.
I feel you. That's why I have a podcast, and so I just talk because I don't have talent.
But it is talent, and you know it is. But we feel like, I felt like, I'm only do comedy because I can't sing or act. But now I know that I obviously love comedy and podcasting, and that is where I belong. But it was fun to write a song and actually have it be like, this is kind of good. Like, it's not as cringe as I thought it would be.
It's not.
It started out, but it's like, it's kind of, I like that because I think people will listen to it, especially like male comics who are like, what is she doing? Like, I just got back from Sam Rill and Mark Norman's podcast, and they played it, and they were like, Mark was like, turn it off, you're too sincere, turn it off. And it was like,
it's too serious.
It's too sincere. Yeah. But that's what it has to be.
They're like, oh, you're really trying. Oh, this is like a real song. Yeah.
You cannot try in comedy. It's the grossest look ever. So that's why I had to like not make it a comedy song, because either I have to just really commit to being like, I think I'm cool and I'm a pop star and I walk like this and I'm like, of course that's what I've always wanted to be. But I'm just at the age, finally, very late in life, nearly 40, where I'm like, no, like just lean into it. Like, don't make it a joke. Like, this isn't a joke. The only reason you make things jokes is because you are uncomfortable being sincere and actually liking yourself and having confidence. And you have to always undercut it with like, but actually I'm ugly. But actually I'm a piece of shit. But actually I want to die someday. Like, I always have to undercut it. And that's great. And that's comedy and that's what it is. But it's nice to lean into like, I'm fucking hot. Like, I'm Dua Lipa. Like, no, you're not. Like, it's
no, but
fun,
see, you just did it. You just said no, you're not. But like but like, why not just?
But why not?
But why not just lean into something? Like you said, like it gets to a point where you're like, can I just do things that I enjoy?
Honestly,
without having it have to be like, oh, why is she doing that? Or everything has to be made fun of. And like, and everything. Dude, right. The thing is always, oh, that's so cringe. Why are you doing that? That's cringe. It's like, because I'm having fun and I enjoy it.
I'm sorry. I'm calling out anyone who calls anything cringe, including myself. When I am like, see a girl like trying in a way that I'm like, cringe. I'm jealous. Maybe I'm not jealous. Maybe I think she doesn't like, I don't like her outfit and I don't like her song or whatever it is. I'm jealous that she has fucking confidence and that she doesn't care that people like me are at home going, ew, and sending it to people. That's what I'm essentially jealous of. So what I have to do is shit on it. Why do I have to shit on it? To prove to myself that there are people that will shit on me if I do something like that. I have to reinforce why I don't do it. So I know that people might cringe or whatever, but I was also like, this song is actually good, and if you don't like it, you just don't like pop music. Like, it's a good song. I'll admit, like, I've written other songs that I'm like, ew, this is like, oh, do you have feelings, Nikki? Someone in love, and it's kind of like, ugh. But this is just like, I'm like, okay, I kind of nailed it on this one.
It is very catchy, and I'm actually excited that we get to play. We can cut the song into our podcast because we can't cut any music into our show, but you're
allowing us to. You're
not allowing us to. We're
letting us do it. So
all day long.
We're going to play
permission.
But
thank you.
I do want to mention first that on the topic of like, you being jealous that someone can like go out there and put out a video and not be cringe. I actually wrote this in my notes the other day. May 6th at 12:35 a.m.
Oh, perfect time.
Yeah. Some people live life with no self-awareness like movie characters, and they don't talk about anything that's going on. I envy them. I literally wrote, I envy them.
You nailed it.
Because I'm like, people can just like go about and like do what they love or do what we may think is embarrassing or, you know, oh, I love to do this, but I don't want anyone to make fun of me. But some people just get out there and do it without caring that someone's going to make fun of them.
Because really the only bad thing about doing is that if you were to care what people think, because if you're just having fun and doing what you want to do, it does not matter. But it's I'm plagued with like, are people going to make fun of this behind my back? Like, what do people think? But when you are able to let that go and just go like, am I doing this song because I want people to think I'm cool? No. Not at all. I'm doing it because it's fun and I want to feel like a little pop star for a day. Yeah. And I really, that's what I like to watch and listen to. And so like, I actually like it. I'm not doing it to get anyone to think I'm cool, even though it might look that way or whatever. Right. But yeah, I envy them.
I think it's a great message all around though, that we all have to shed that fear of like, what is somebody else going to think about me doing this? But what do I feel about doing this?
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
And what is your motivation? Are you doing it so people like you? Or are you doing it because that's just like what you felt that day? Like if you post a picture where you look hot and you know you look hot, is that a crime?
No.
Like sometimes people are like, you think you're so, and it's like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did. That's why I posted it.
Yeah, that's why I posted it.
No, I love when people, why did you post this? Because I thought I looked good.
Yes. Yeah. And why
Simple
is
as
that?
that.
And then if you post, sometimes I post things where I like don't look good on purpose because I want to like I don't want people to think I think I'm hot. But then that's me manipulating the story. So
you're like, oh, I'm relatable.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like just like death to the comment section because it really just builds off the fact that we're even taking away what everybody's thinking and letting it affect us because they can comment on it.
Yeah,
right? and I'm sure it's not even just like, you know, people in this space that are creating things online. It's just like, I'm sure people deal with that in their everyday lives. Like whether it's based on their friends or family, like what they're going to think, you know, when somebody, you know, changes jobs or
wears a sleeveless shirt.
Right.
Like, I mean, seriously, women are like, if I show my arms at this dinner, what is everyone going to say? And that makes me, what's breaks my aunt going to say? So, and because they might say something that'll devastate you. And it's like, yeah, you just don't, but I realize we only are worried about these people and we only know they exist because we do it. Yeah. So if we stop doing it as much, like I found that I've trying to curb my shit talking. Like, you know, when you like send a post to each other of someone who's cringe and you go, look at this. And like you almost send it to them because sometimes when you send a story, it's like reply to them. And
right.
Like, But if I stop
to story.
Oh God. If I mean, that happens
myself, like I see the other end of that too. And I'm sure you do it also when strangers reply to your story and they meant to shit talk and send it to somebody else and then they go, oh shit, they're like, oh shit, meant to send that to somebody, and it's always like, damn, like I don't know, it's always some stupid commentary, but you're like, oh shit, okay.
Or when you miss the original one that they sent and you only get, oops, I didn't mean to send that, and you're like, but what did you send?
What did you have possibly said about me?
What did you say?
And I think as you know, and people really know you guys, and like, you know, they've people are listening to your podcast have parasocial relationships with you, which I do not think is like lame. I actually have it for Taylor Swift, and so I know what it's like to have it for someone and be like, I could be friends with her. And you're right. People that think they could be friends with you, most of them are right.
Yeah, I think that all the time. I see people. We talk about actors and actresses that we would want to go on double dates with. We're like, oh, they would love us.
Yeah. Like, and you are right most of the time. And you've met your fans, and sometimes your fans are like, bitch, I would never want to hang out with you. But I would say the majority of your fans are probably girls that if you lived near would be in, and we're in the same world.
At our shows, I love meeting the girls at our shows because I'm like, wow, they're great.
Yeah. And they love you because anyone who would listen to like my podcast listeners are always like, I call them besties because it's like, you could be my best friend because if you're willing to tolerate me just talking 2 hours a week and not being that charming or funny all the time, just kind of being myself, then you love me. And we could be friends. But I think that sometimes the comments you get when you're looking too hot or a little too glowy are like, I'm going to lose. You're going to change. I got on the ground level. Stay the way you are. Yeah. Don't turn your back on your fans. Like, you're looking too pretty. You're looking like, and then there's like which is the same backlash I have for my friends when they get too.
Yeah. That is a weird phenomenon.
You're allowed to have that moment. You know, you're allowed to shine, and your friends would root for you to shine.
You would hope.
And you would hope. And you're like, yeah, I fucking crushed that roast, and I'm going to look hot. Like, on Instagram,
just like people
but you're still you.
No, I've changed. I just spend more money on stylists and
exactly
give hair and makeup more advice on what to do.
Like, hey, success isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And speaking of spending money, you mentioned Taylor Swift a couple times.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
we all know.
We all know
that you
spent so much. I should add it up because it's probably more than what it's.
You spend an absurd amount of money on Eras Tour tickets.
Yes.
Did that price go up? Like, did you downplay that price when you?
Okay, let me just say, like, I think when I first started buying tickets, I went to the first. I got like normal seats and was like modest. I went with a fan because a fan I wasn't getting tickets, and I was like, if a fan has extra ticket, I'll go with a fan. I'll just meet you. So I went with a fan. It's kind of like up in the bleachers, and I was like, this won't happen again. Like, I can't be this far. Like, I need the best experience. So I just went on StubHub.
That's how
I
went with Kelly Keegs, and that's how we got our ticket. She was so sweet, but she had won a contest. She didn't live in New York. She lived in, I think, Chicago, and she had won a contest for tickets in New York. And then she had also had tickets for Chicago, but she was like, I can't like put them on the resale market because I won them.
Yeah,
but I will sell them to you for face value.
Amazing.
If you want. And so we put a lot of trust in her too, because she was like, I promise you, like, I cannot actually transfer the tickets until like 2 days before the show.
Oh my God.
So
I remember leading up, perfect. You guys were like, we don't know if we're actually going.
But it worked out. But it totally worked out. Yeah, she sent us the tickets. It was so great. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
like that was the only way I was
right. No, it is the only way, because I'm not good. I can't be online. I didn't even like check getting a Capital One card and getting in that room. Like, I couldn't even.
I got the Capital One credit card. Still have it. Had to hit, like, I was like, might as well use it to freaking get the points. I was like, might as well hit my minimum spend so I get the bonus points.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look into it. I was just like, I'll either find a hookup or something, and then I didn't, and then I just had to go on StubHub, and I paid. I think the most I paid was $7,500 per ticket for 2 tickets front row for me and my mom, and then I just started doing it where I'm like, okay, I'll do 3rd row, I'll do 9th row. Like, I don't need to be
you're
first row is actually not even great because the stage is like so, so you're
so high up
all the time. But I just started I would just, any weekend I had off that she was in the city, I would fly there, and I fly all my friends that were available to go and get tickets and go, and it was so worth it. And as someone who, you know, I've talked about before, but I really realized this year I'm probably not going to have kids. Like, I'm okay with it, and as we
caught on from your special, I watched it last night.
Yes.
I was like, oh, she's definitely not having kids.
Yeah, if I do, I'll really have to like go back on a lot of stuff. But like over the course of a child's lifetime is like $1 million until they're 18 that you spend, and I'm like, I've got $1 million sitting around that I would spend on a kid, that I get this free money. Like, let me just go. Who knows if Taylor will do this again? I don't know. Crazy things can happen. I'm going to go to every
Taylor
single show.
Swift tickets, having a baby.
But honestly,
no, you know how they say girl math? That was girl math.
Yep.
I'm not having a kid. I have this extra money.
Yep.
I'll go to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Are you going to go to any of the Europe shows?
Yeah. I'm Vienna, Zurich, and maybe Dublin coming up. And then I'm going to Vancouver, Indy, and New Orleans.
That's amazing.
So I'm going to the last night.
And you've been like an OG Swiftie.
Yeah, I got in Blank Space was the song when it was I'm a 1989 girly. And I met Taylor Swift. I went to her Red tour, and I wasn't a fan yet. We just got invited because I had a show. And we were backstage and met her, and I was just remember being like, "You're so normal," and that was like you. So I remember feeling like just she's such a normal girl. And then 1989 was when something in my brain shifted, and it was like a real decision that it was I was going to commit my life to this. So it's like,
and you have committed.
I have. It's like the greatest thing ever, but it really is. It's embarrassing to admit all the money I've spent on it, but I am just like, you know, people buy bags and cars. Like, I don't really. I don't own a house.
Everyone has their thing. Okay,
this is my
everyone.
thing.
Yes, everyone has their thing that they spend money on. That some people are like, why don't you spend your money on that? Well, it's my fucking money.
And you're like, well, I can.
Yes, yes, because I can, and because I don't spend it on other things. Like I just, and that is, and people go, which show is the best? And I go, they're all the same. They're all perfect. Like she's she doesn't mess up.
Yep.
And they don't really deviate from like, she'll say different things here and there, but I just like that it's consistent.
And now you get to experience
and
new.
now I get TTPD.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You'll get some new surprise songs, but the whole thing will be great. I mean, we're already being told to wrap up, which is
okay.
Even though
I have so much more I want to touch on.
I know, seriously. Well, I mean, how about this for an ending question that really won't take us on a segue anywhere? Thoughts about death? Because really, when I saw the name of the special and everything, like, this is Bria's least favorite topic.
Oh no, I know this is so hard for some people.
No, it's really like anytime it comes up on the podcast, Bria's like, can't do it.
No, my podcast co-host can't talk about death either. Like literally, we have to change the subject.
Yeah,
freaks me out.
And like the whole, you know,
like I'll just say that I found a lot of, if you're someone who's scared of death, as we all are deep down, and some of us just feel it more. Tyler Henry's show, At Life After Death, that was it's on Netflix. It gave me so much hope for what comes next, which I never found in religion or anything. Like that really helped me. But I've
been to Medium, so I like do believe,
Yeah, so you're aware that there's something else.
I totally believe that there's something after,
sucks.
but it's still because I'm like, I'm not here. But I will say something somebody said to me that works here. They were like, the worst part of you dying is for everybody else.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I guess that's comforting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I guess, but still, like, I want to be with everybody.
I know. What's comforting to me is that I truly believe that like, based on everyone that's had near-death experiences and comes back, they're like, no, don't put me back. Like, you want to go. Like, apparently at the end, you're really okay with going, and it's like the most peaceful, amazing feeling in the world to like go to the next place. And this is just a stopover, and that helps me. But I also just think that it's just so interesting because it is the thing that we all have to do. And I am struck at these moments like where sometimes like I remember I have to die. Like you really go like, oh fuck. That's something like it's like you have to remember, like you have to get my passport renewed or something. Like, it's that same feeling of like, oh, I have to do it. There's no way I can't do that. I want to travel, and like, but it's this burden. But it's also, as someone who gets really depressed, like I find that I fantasize about like not existing because sometimes it's so hard to be alive and to feel so depressed and like feel like I can't go on. I have to go do this thing and I don't even want to do it and I feel ugly and then there's this kind of calmness where I'm like someday it will be over. So it's both. It's like both the fear and the wish for me, and I feel like that's why it's so
comforting and scary.
It can be, and I used to really feel so guilty about having suicidal thoughts, which I realized is a very natural thing. Not everyone gets them, but if you get them, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It doesn't mean you are going to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you should be able to talk about it to people and not have them go, we're going to commit you to it, because it's a natural place for humans to go, because it is, and it just gives you a relief that if I want, I can get out. You're not going to pull that emergency lever, but it's there. You know, like you see it on the plane door, and you're never going to have to use it.
So it's the intrusive thoughts of like, well, what if I just open this?
Yeah, exactly. And they're just thoughts, and they're not real. And like, I just feel like it's just interesting in a special, I'm able to talk about suicidal thoughts on this like crazy stage where all these people are hearing about it. And it was something 2 years ago during COVID when they were really bad that I was like, I couldn't even tell my therapist. And I think that's just so lovely to be able to say the unspeakable, the thing you're most ashamed of, which sometimes I feel like I never have things I'm ashamed. Like, do I just say everything?
Right.
But there are still things. There's something I'm probably hiding right now that I'm like, I'll never say that on stage, and it'll be in my next special. And it's just that's I feel like really good about finding those things and lifting that shame, because it's all
and something that
shame.
So many people can relate to.
So many. And that you don't know until you say it, and you get people talking.
And you're like, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And the laughter back. Like, laughter is, a lot of times sometimes it's like laughing at your experience, but most of the time it's like, oh, they feel it too.
The laughing is because, I have thought that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like I recently just did a show where, because sometimes you say things on stage and you're like, I don't know if people are gonna relate to this, and I'll feel really alone that I've said something so personal that I thought was gonna be like, me too moment.
Yeah.
But I was talking about like when you're like, I tell the audience on my live shows, like, it's the type of show that you can go to if you have social anxiety, because I'm never going to call you out and roast you. I'm never going to be like, look at this girl's shirt, or like, I literally never. Like, you can go to my show, sit in the dark, you can not laugh, and I'm not going to be like, sir, why are you crossing your hands? Like, do whatever you want. You can get up and go to the bathroom. I won't care. So I was talking about, you know, girls, if you want, just, you know, if you have to go to the bathroom, just go in your seat. Like, it's distracting. Like, this is about me. And I go, no, just get up and go. And I'm not going to have a spotlight find you, be like, this girl's going to take a shit or whatever. And, because you've seen comics do that before. We've all seen that at shows. It would stop me from going to a comedy show to have anyone think I was going to shit. So I go, girls, if you do go to the bathroom, make sure that shit's really fast so we all think it's a pee. And then I was thinking about, and then I just got to talking. I was like, do you ever like, do have to go number 2 and you go really fast because you don't want anyone at the table to think it was the other thing. And then you get back to the table and you're like, did I get it all off? Like, is it, you like kind of like breathe in more to like smell?
And you feel like the smell has surrounded you.
Did I bring it back with me to the table?
And like, is it all, did I get it off my wrist? And I said that in a crowd, and as soon as I said it, I was like, no, has anyone else had shit on their wrist? But the way they laughed, like, I was like, you guys, I am so glad Denver gets shit on their wrist. Like, it was such a thing I'd never articulated even to myself.
It's one of those things where you go, oh my God, we've never experienced an original moment. You know, you say things out loud that you think are groundbreaking, and you're like, nope, everybody's had this
It's like those memes that you go, how did they know me so well? And that's always such a great moment, just both as a comedian, just to find that thing, but also just as a person, like, oh good, I'm not the only stinky bitch in this place that like might have shit, or I don't even know how it gets up there.
I'm so validated. No, I feel that 1,000%. Like, especially in this place, like, because if I go in here, like, I get like really shy. If I like, sometimes I've had moments where I'm like, oh my God, I really gotta go. Like, I'm like, can you like stand outside the door, make sure nobody's gonna come in or whatever. And then I'm like running back, and I'm like, okay, like I am walking down the hallway with this stench following me.
And I like have so if you want to ever like cover up stench, like I have so many good things. You wash your hands and then you go like this, like with the
air
sun.
It out.
And it creates an air freshener. And like there's so many like tips and tricks of that. Or you like bring in your makeup so that, and you don't do your makeup, but people think you're doing your
It's just a quick little touch up.
If there was a shower like next to I would jump in before I left the bathroom. Like that's how self-conscious I am about that.
I'm so glad to hear.
Very validating.
So
guys, hell of a spot to wrap up.
I love
getting yelled at now. So thank you so much, Nikki. We love you. Please, everyone, go watch Nikki's special on HBO. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna, you know, you'll maybe think about death a little bit.
But in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. And if you live under a rock and haven't seen the roast, go watch the roast.
The roast. You have to watch.
The Tom Brady roast
on tour. I know your fans are like, go out and like fucking support you guys so much. I've seen your crowd, so like same energy at my shows. I'd love it.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nikki.